From courtside to Capitol Hill, crossing boundaries and borders, if it's trending, I'm talking about it. Welcome back to the Emily Austin Show. I missed you guys. I didn't see you on Thanksgiving, but I did eat 3 full plates of food with absolutely 0 regrets. Now my update, I am barely hanging on by a thread. I have a crazy sinus infection that if I sound nasal, it's because I'm not really over it. And then because I obviously make amazing life choices, I went ice skating last night, face plant, right in front of a crowd of 6-year-olds. 0 dignity, 0 integrity. And all the kids pointing at me like I'm in some sitcom movie with that laughing in the background. And to add the cherry on top, the weather here in New York, miserable, cold, wet, gray, rainy, disgusting. My soul is allergic to it. But on the bright side, I won't be here for much longer. I will be between the sunshine state of Florida, Miami, back to New York, and then in between DC, Trump's Hanukkah party, JD Vance's Hanukkah party. There's even a chance I end up in Lagos, Nigeria for a few days, which if that happens, we'll talk about it. The next episode, my suitcase is open at this point. But before we get into the scroll, if you didn't notice the beautiful watch behind me, my Emily Austin Show watch, special, custom made by Gabrielle Fisher. If you want to see more about her watches, go to our collaborated post on Instagram. She's incredible. It's actually my watch that she made for the studio, and I'm just trying to show off my watch here. But it's beautiful, and it's custom, and nobody gets anything better than custom things with their name on it. Now, let's get into the scroll. Scroll number 1, Josh Giddy gets harassed. Let's dig into this a bit. Oh, you want a fist bump now? Oh, he wants a fist bump now. He calls Josh Giddy a pedophile, which I'll break down why. And then he wants a fist bump from him after he hears him, comes to the sideline to address him, and he's like, hey, bro, who's your bro? Oh, that's like the meme. I'm not your brah. Well, he's definitely not your bro if you're calling him a pedophile. Now, why is he calling him a pedophile? If you guys watch the NBA, you probably follow. Josh Giddy is an incredible player. He was conned. And a lot of people will get mad at this, but I'm gonna stand by defending him because a girl, she was underage. I'm not sure exactly how old she was because the case went very quiet, which is great for Josh. She met him in a club. You need to be over 21 to get into a club. In fact, she had a fake ID. So she's fully lying about her age, this person. Josh engages in sexual relations with her. And then, drum roll, the family wants to sue him. Well, isn't that ironic? How about you, I don't know, discipline your daughter for going to a club underage and seducing a guy? No. I'm on Team Josh here. And all these girls are like, well, he is a pedophile because she was underage. She doesn't look underage. She is a beautiful, very young girl who looks mature for her age, and she lied. There should be consequences for her, not for him. Now, to add on top of this, I see this a lot. Like, I was a 14-year-old girl. I'm talking 14 years old. I could have passed for 21. Would I do that? No. And the fact that it's not illegal to lie to a man about your age and then get him into trouble with the law is insane to me. It's just beyond insane. Scroll number 2, and this one is arguably disturbing.
My mom wrote this really beautiful essay about her abortion that she got when she was really young, and about how if she hadn't have had it, she wouldn't have become the person that she'd become, and I wouldn't exist, and how both of my parents' lives would have been totally derailed if she hadn't had access to safe and legal health care, fundamental health care. And I...
Pause. Okay. So Maya Hawke, the star of Stranger Things, who I'm a huge fan of her work, especially in the series Stranger Things, is essentially... It comes off very nonchalantly talking about how her mom would not have had her if she didn't have an abortion. Saying, like, you know, I would have had a sibling, she wouldn't have needed me. I get the point that she's trying to make. The problem is, this isn't really something you brag about. It's not a topic that you just kind of lore drop on, I don't know whose show this was, Jimmy Fallon or something. I'm against abortion, don't get me wrong. And this is, again, another controversial take, everyone gets mad at it. I'm personally against it. I'm also against the government controlling my body. I was very against forced vaccinations. What happened to my body, my choice, right? But jab for you, jab for you. But then I second guess myself because I see people like Candace Owens reproducing, and then I think, maybe I am pro-choice. I'm stunned by how casually she delivered something that's so morally complex. It's not that she's necessarily wrong here. Again, I'm against the abortion, and especially it seems like there was not really a valid reason to have one. To me, it's just like, you're killing someone. You are, in fact, killing someone. That's the reality. But it's not something you brag about. It's not something to be proud of. If you need to do it for a dire circumstance, I get it. But this is very morally complex, and it's become very trendy for the left to have abortions, and that's where I'm disturbed by it. Again, it's not what they're doing, it's how they're going about it. So her saying my mom wrote an essay on it isn't the flex that you think it is. And everyone's attacking her, and she really innocently delivered this, but this goes back to the moral issue. Abortion is wrong. Emily Austin's not saying you shouldn't get one if you need it, but let's not pretend that it's not killing a baby, because it is. Scroll number 3.
So what the holes mean is low activity. Compared to this one, the front part of your brain is less active than it should be. With your frontal...
So this clip went crazy viral over this weekend. It's a doctor telling Kim Kardashian that her brain has low function. And everybody was very quick to make fun of her. And they said, oh, did she really need a scan to show this? She's studying for the bar exam. She wants to become a lawyer, as many of you may already know. And she said she can't seem to pass the bar, which I'm gonna brag, my mom passed it the first time she took it. And she makes sure that she throws that in her face every time we argue. Who's smarter? I passed the bar exam. Okay, we get it, Mom. But that's besides the point. The internet was very, very quick to completely obliterate Kim Kardashian. Now, I don't know her, I'm not her friend, but God, have some mercy on the girl. You have to have mercy on her for the sole reason that she is co-parenting with Kanye West. Now, what this clip doesn't show is the episode goes on to say that she's having low brain function because of the level of stress. Now, while it's easy to bully people online, you genuinely have to think, listen, she's not perfect. She had a sex tape, for God's sake, that went viral, and she's getting to an age with her children where she needs to now explain why she did that. That's pretty mortifying as a mother to have to do that. By the way, we spoke about this last episode, Lana Rhoades, all these porn stars, same thing. But now add on top of that, her ex-husband can't decide if he's a Nazi or an ally to the Jewish community on a weekly basis and keeps repenting and re-giving his life to Jesus Christ and then comes out with an album called Hail Hitler. Now, if that were the father of my children, I wouldn't have any brain function because I'd be so stressed about co-parenting with Kanye West that doctor would have told me, I don't know how you're alive, your brain's not working. So Kim, I know everyone's bullying you, but I'm sorry for you. And I would not want to co-parent with Kanye, ever. Even though he did apologize to the Jewish community, and I accept your apology, but please don't release an album next week called like Nazi Germany. Just stop. Now on a more serious note. Moment with my mom this week that really, really resonated with me for the wrong reasons. I told her, Mommy, someone was set on fire on the train. And her response to me was, which time? And not in a joking manner. She genuinely needed clarification because this type of violence became so repetitive and mainstream. And that one sentence that she told me just hit me so deep and showed me how far we've slipped as society. We're adjusting to things that were never meant to be normal. And we've accepted them as norms. So that memory's sitting with me the same time as something very significant happened last night. Iryna's law, you guys all remember Iryna, we'll get into it shortly, officially went into effect in North Carolina. So this law was created after the murder of Iryna Zarutska, and it ends cashless bail for multiple offenses, and it tightens release rules for suspects. And that conversation around bail, both cash and no cash, is where everything's gone completely off the rails. People hear no cash bail all the time, but they don't really know what it means. So traditionally, courts will set a cash bail amount. Now, if you pay it, you get to go home. And if you can't, you stay in jail. That system is based entirely on money and not safety. So this law gets rid of that. And instead now, they need to ask, are you a threat or danger to the community? And number 2, are you likely to return to court? Here's where I stand. I don't want no cash bail, and I don't want cash bail either. I want no release. Everyone's talking about prison reform. Michael Rubin and Meek Mill, they're like, prison reform this. Kim Kardashian, she talks about prison reform all the time. But not the prison reform I'm talking about. They want to make it easier to let people walk. I'm saying I don't want them even released. Now, again, there's a fine line here. I'm not talking about silly offenses where you should be held for a week because there's no time to see a judge. No. These days, there's no such thing as too safe. We've gone too far as a society to take risks anymore. And this will suck for people with dumb violations. But again, it only took effect in North Carolina. I'm hoping this becomes a federal law and people will complain and people will say it's harsh. But you know what else is harsh? I don't know, being stabbed on a train, being set on fire, being pushed onto the railroad because you're waiting for your train because you're an average New Yorker trying to commute, families being destroyed because someone who should have been detained was let out of jail, not once, 72 times. The most recent incident, which we'll discuss, this man was released from jail 72 times. So we're past the point where we can gamble with public safety to make ideological statements. Oh, I'm trying to reform prison. No, you commit the crime, you do the time. Even SpongeBob taught you that. If you don't want to go to jail, how could you avoid it? Oh, follow the law. It's not that complicated because almost every violent headline we see starts the same way. This suspect had multiple prior arrests. This suspect was released last week after, punching a woman in the face. This suspect has a history of violence. Now, this is the consequence of choices made by judges who refuse to prioritize safety. So at a certain point, when a judge, by the way, same cities, all blue cities, continuously release dangerous individuals who then go on to hurt people, to me, that judge is an accomplice, not an observer. You are complicit in this crime because your ruling is directly affected to the outcome, likely the murder that I'm discussing. So no one understands that more than Iryna's boyfriend. He recently tweeted, by the way, let me backtrack a bit. Iryna and her boyfriend both fled Ukraine, a literal war zone, survived, came to America for safety, just to be stabbed to death on a train by a repeat offender who never should have been free. So when Iryna's boyfriend just saw the attack in Chicago, another woman set on fire by a man with 72 prior arrests, he immediately went to Twitter and he said the following. 72 prior arrests sounds like a joke. I guess the first 72 times were not enough to understand who he is. That's the truth. These tragedies aren't random. They're actually very much preventable. And they stem from decisions made by judges who ignore patterns and are screaming at them in bold red letters, and they just want to ignore all the signs. Another part of this issue is mental illness. We shut down insane asylums decades ago, and we're not doing a good job replacing them. We've replaced them with nothing. People who are severely unwell and incapable of functioning in a normal society are thrown into shelters, ERs, streets, sometimes even jail cells, none of which can support or contain them. And then the public is paying the price. They are suffering for this, which is why the point of all of this is there has to be accountability extended to judges, to lawmakers, and the entire criminal justice infrastructure. If your decision is a result, where we do that, sorry, Grayson. If your decision will result in a violent offender and you release criminals back onto the public, I'm sorry, you should face consequences. Judges cannot keep operating with no accountability. This is insane, which is why I support legislation like Randy Fines. He wants to allow victims of families to sue the judges that continuously release repeat violent offenders. Judges have insulated themselves behind this ideology for too long. And one day, when I run for office, this is going to be something that is my central issue. Judicial accountability, real containment for severely mental ill. And yes, I want to introduce the death penalty. For crimes that are so brutal, there's no other response. And let me tell you something. I work in countries where there is a death penalty. And do you know what it's like working there? I can walk around Saudi Arabia at 3 a.m. with my beautiful mother, and we don't ever have to even go like this. Now, on the contrary, I live in New York City, and I don't even want to walk from my car in the parking lot to Fox News on 6th Avenue, because God forbid I just look at a guy the wrong way, I could risk being stabbed in the neck. And with Mamdani as the new mayor, we only know it's going to get worse. Bottom line, we can't keep living in a society where my mom asks me which time when I'm telling her about someone being set on fire on a train. That should never be normal. But until judges are held responsible for the outcomes of their decisions, nothing will change. And now, to lower my blood pressure. By the way, I'm physically sweating because I'm so angry about that last topic, but we're gonna move on. It's game time.
Women. C5. Oh. Wayne time. Oh. Yeah.
This game time is best and worst Thanksgiving sides, which, by the way, don't even think this is a nonchalant subject because Twitter went to war over this topic. So I'm gonna give you my ranking. Number one, as always, and I look forward to it every year, and by the way, I only eat it on Thanksgiving, stuffing. But your traditional stuffing. I don't want the cranberries, I don't want the apples. I saw people put like celery in their stuffing. Jail. Literally go to jail. No cash bail. Just joking. Number two, sweet potatoes with melted marshmallows, but not melted. Here's like the trick. You take it's like a little flame machine and you go over the marshmallows and you get it to that perfect brown. Obviously I set mine on fire a few times, but it was delicious. That might actually be my number one. Depends who's making it. If it's a good one, that's my number one, but stuffing's a classic and you can't go wrong. Number three, arguably also number one, gravy. Because the gravy goes on everything. This year, it went on my rice, it went on my turkey, it went on basically every piece of meat that you could possibly eat. And it's perfect. You can't do Thanksgiving without gravy, so maybe that should be number one. I don't know. I'm conflicted here. I'm a big food girl. Now for my overrated list, people will get upset, and funnily enough, I made fun of Riley Gaines for this on Twitter, but she was right. I'm just gonna say it. Mashed potatoes are really overrated. That's it. Attack me. Ooh. No, but seriously, I just don't, I don't think they're special, especially because they're so easy to make, and maybe I just eat it too frequently outside of Thanksgiving. I think I want that like thankful, oh, I don't eat this often, so I appreciate it. But I just don't, I didn't even try mashed potatoes at the Thanksgiving table. But mashed potatoes aren't the worst side. I definitely have worse ones. Cranberry sauce, disgusting. It seems like confused Jell-O pretending to be a side dish. What do you even put it on? It's sweet. It doesn't go on anything. It's like putting pineapple on pizza. It doesn't belong. It's criminal to do that. And my least favorite, anything Brussels sprouts, anything vegetables, not on Thanksgiving. That's all nasty. We don't need that. You can have it every other day. We save the elite for Thanksgiving. So any of that, Brussels sprouts, string beans, by the way, I made the string beans this year and they were delicious, but I didn't eat them. Garbage. Save it for another day. Thanksgiving is for the best. And now the internet's always betting on something, so let's see what Polymarket has in store for us this week. First poll that's really, really hot. It's always hot, and I've addressed it on the last episode, but different flavor this time. Trending bet is who will be named in the released Epstein files. So number one's Ehud Barak, and number two, Tony Blair, Alec Baldwin, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Ehud Barak, number one at 55%. I don't know how to break this to you guys. The Epstein files came out many, many years ago. The flight logs came out many years ago. Ehud Barak, along with almost everybody on this list, already came out. So what am I missing here? Why is this like the number one biggest deal under Trump's administration, where they're attacking him as if they voted for Trump to get the Epstein files? Sorry, Biden had them for 4 years and none of y'all cared. So I don't even want to hear the fake outrage. So going back to the Polymarket odds, Ehud Barak 55%, yeah, I'm buying in. Because his name was on the list that's on the internet. So let's see, if I bet $100, I get back 175. Dude, that's crazy. That's actually insane. All right, I'm gonna do it right now. Oh, Polymarket's going live this week in the US. Number two, number one searched actor on Google this year, and this one got me excited because number one is Mikey Madison. I don't even know who that is. Oh, he's not number one. The odds just changed in live time. That's a girl? Yeah. See? My producer just said she. Mikey Madison. Sorry, I'm sure you're great. Clearly, if you're searched, I guess. But as I was on Polymarket, it just refreshed to 30%. Now, Sydney Sweeney is in the lead. And here's why I'm happy about that. I loved the liberal outrage of Sydney Sweeney simply being hot. everybody had a meltdown over the fact that she was hot. So the fact that she was the most Googled actor of the year, does she benefit from that? Probably not, but she's killing it. And honestly, this would be like nothing for her. But to see that she made that much of a culture war because she said, I have good genes, and y'all wanted to translate that into she's a Nazi white supremacist. If there was a clown of the year to debate a culture war, I'd have to say that probably is number one. And there's a lot of stupidity on the internet, but hating Sydney Sweeney because of a commercial for American Eagle has to be top stupidity I've ever seen in my life. Last but not least, you know I will never let you go without telling you what you should care about. And honestly, this one's just to spite any Canadian who's watching this. And I'm sorry, I know I have a lot of fans and friends in Toronto, but screw you today, because the New York Knicks are officially second in the Eastern Conference after defeating the Raptors in the Knicks arena, which was awesome. It's not a fluke, guys. This team is real. We got real defense this year, real offense, real momentum. And yes, the Knicks ran through the six with their woes. So Drake is somewhere crying on a sidewalk, processing, writing his next album. Toronto is weeping, and New York is planning a parade. But I'm not gonna get too excited because first of all, the Raptors are third. So they can easily just whoop after one bad game. And I seem to always put my eggs in the Knicks basket. Y'all know how that works out for me. Not great. But it's fun, and there's nothing like being at a game in the Knicks arena at MSG. Better than any arena in the world. Do not at me, I won't hear it. So I'm excited. I think we have a long season ahead. I think at the very least, we get to the second round of playoffs, by the way, assuming nobody gets hurt. Please, Jalen Brunson, just like don't twist anything or just stay safe out there. Mitch, you too, you're always injured. Just stop being injured for once in your life. And we'll have a fun year. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Leave your like, your comment, subscribe, send this to all your friends. Let me know what you think about mashed potatoes, and I'll see you on Friday.